I'm gonna get your friend's number here. Keurig, right?
Oh yeah. Go for it.
We already have nicknames.
Yeah.
The coffee, you know.
Smooth.
All right, guys. After long last, I've finally arrived.
Oh, we've been waiting for you, honestly.
Well, you know what? Say no more. You guys can stop talking about me.
No, that's exactly what we're doing, actually.
I saw that. I was like, wait a second,
Yeah,
hold
you
on.
can read our list from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were like kind of communicating telepathically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it too.
So you guys, you already know because we were communicating telepathically that my
You
name
don't
is
even have
Devin.
to. Yeah.
You guys knew that already?
Yeah. So you know already.
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. Where, did you go to Santorini?
I did.
You did. Okay. Are you? You guys are great.
That's good. Huh?
I just yeah. That was the telepathic communication, right?
Yeah. I gave it away.
Oh, nice. So when we were communicating,
Yeah.
right? You were saying that you like to go for coffee, but you're not so much of a Starbucks fan, right?
Oh, not at all.
No, definitely not a Starbucks fan.
Starbucks so much. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was just that one time. You just had to.
No, it was just because we were passing by, right? Yeah.
Hold on. Did you guilt her into it?
It was. No, it's probably me. I noticed I worked night shift last night, so
Oh.
me. Yeah, I was like, how do I get her out? Yeah. How did she had to lure me out with coffee and stuff?
Before I go though, I'm gonna get your friend's number here. Keurig, right?
Oh yeah. Go for it.
We already have nicknames.
Yeah.
The coffee, you know.
Smooth.
Communicating telepathically, right?
It was a gimmick. I know.
You're like, yeah, you have to. So approaching a girl who's in a group or with a friend is a lot different than approaching a girl who's by herself. Even if the girl that you're into likes you, right, she might still end up ghosting you because you're probably doing this one thing wrong. And a lot of my students continually make this mistake, and I personally used to make this mistake all the time, and it used to drive me nuts, okay? Now, before I tell you what this mistake is, I want to get into why I use this opener. It's all going to go full circle here in a second. So, as you saw, I walked up and said, all right, guys, I'm here. You can stop talking about me. This approach opener for groups I use quite a bit, okay? And there's a reason why I do it. For one thing, it shows an incredible amount of confidence. It almost borders on cockiness, right? I mean, the girls are going to be thinking, wow, like, look at this guy coming in hot, right? Like, he's got so much confidence in himself. But another reason why I use it is it sets up a good frame. It sets up the frame of them either... Oh, there goes the mic. Hold on. So this already sets up the frame of them liking me, of them already being interested in me. I mean, whether they were talking about me beforehand or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to see if they're going to play along. And not only that, I want to see who's going to commit to the conversation more, who's going to contribute to the conversation more, okay? And the most important thing that this opener does is it includes both of them on the conversation, right? I talked earlier about how there's a mistake that a lot of guys make, and that is by far this, right? When they go up and approach a group of girls, they go and they talk to one girl, and they don't acknowledge the other girls in the group. It's like they have their, blinders on for that one girl. And the problem with doing that is it almost rubs the other girls the wrong way, right? If you don't acknowledge them, if you're not, contributing to them in the conversation as well too, right? You talk to the one girl you're interested in, and, you say, well, what do you think of that, right? What does your friend do? Here, I'm gonna get your friend's number, right? You want to include her in the conversation as well, because if you're just gonna ignore her, you don't want that friend to get in, the girl that you're interested ear and tell her, hey, you know what? Like, this guy was a little weird. This guy was a little creepy, right? You don't want her to feel bitter or ignored in any way, because you don't want her to have an influence in your friend, or sorry, the girl that you're going for's decision in you, right? So another thing that I utilized in this approach as well too is kind of bouncing friendship dynamics off of each other, right? First of all, a good go-to thing you can do is you can say, how do you guys know each other, right? Like, I can tell by the way that you're speaking to each other, you guys have probably known for like you guys have probably known each other for like 3 years plus, right? I mean, look at you guys. You're finishing each other's sentences. And they'll start laughing. Ha ha, well, we met doing this. This is going to bring up positive emotions, right? And then another thing I do is I want to try to find out who's the shot caller, who's the leader of the group, who's pulling the strings, right? So one thing I'll do is I'll say, all right, so who dragged who out? Who's the leader, right? So a girl will say, oh, we're going out tonight. We're going to this club. We're going to this bar. I didn't really want to go. Oh, so it was you. You're the one pulling the strings over here. You're the bad influence of the group, right? I want to see who's the good girl, I guess you could say, and who's the bad girl, right? The party girl. So that's, one way I do that is I, like to ask those kind of questions, right? Okay, who influenced who? You didn't want to do this, but you made her do this, right? And then if you guys ever find the conversation dying out, or you ever find the conversation not really going anywhere, that's a good go-to right there, is the how do you guys know each other? Did you guys go to school together, right? And then at the end, or sprinkled in throughout the conversation, just depending, I like to screen for logistics, right? So I want to figure out, okay, are they just visiting the city for the weekend? Are they just in town for the day? Do they plan on going out that night? If they do go out, how many of them are going out that night? Ideally, you want to make plans on the same night that you meet them, right? So let's say you have plans with another buddy, right? You're going out with another guy for drinks, and, 2 girls are going out, right? You can say, all right, well, I'll tell you what, Bethany, I'll grab your number. Me and my friend are going to go out for, a drink over at this location. It's a really good spot. Have you not, really? You haven't tried that? Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll text you. We'll go out for drinks here, and then yada, 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 right? You want to figure out, okay, who are they going out with? When are they going out? And how long are they in town for, right? You want to figure all that stuff out in person if you can, but ideally you want to meet up with her, the girl that you're talking to, or the girls that you're talking to, right? If you're going out with a guy or, other guy friends as well too, you want to try to meet up with them as fast as possible, okay? Because the more time you spend on the phone by text, the less you'll be likely to actually go out on a date with a girl, okay? I go into extensive detail on this in this video right here. I go into text game, what you should say, what you shouldn't say to a girl by text. I break it all down. So watch that video right here and subscribe for more content.